Today, we take you back to about 500 years ago. Emperor Akbar had begun his martial training as a mere teenager. In the year 1556, shortly after he turned 13, his father, Emperor Humayun, sent him on a military campaign to Punjab with his trusted general Bairam. Yes, you heard that right. He was only 13 years old. The aim of the campaign was to defeat Sikandar Shah, the ruler of Punjab and Humayun's old enemy. A short while into the campaign, a messenger arrived with some grave news. Emperor Humayun had passed away after falling off his library's stone staircase. In the wake of this news, Akbar was declared emperor, and a coronation was swiftly arranged before some unexpected rival could claim the throne. The young emperor's first challenge was General Hemu, who attacked Delhi with a gigantic army. The Delhi governor at this time was Tardi Beg. He tried defending the capital, but knew that he was fast losing the battle. So, Tardi Beg gathered as much royal treasure as he could and fled with his forces to join the emperor. With no further resistance, Hemu successfully conquered the throne and assumed the title of King Vikramaditya. Meanwhile, back in Punjab, Emperor Akbar pardoned Tardi Beg for fleeing and was glad that he'd managed to salvage some of the royal treasure. General Bairam, on the other hand, didn't approve of this leniency and had Tardi secretly assassinated. Unaware of Tardi's fate, the emperor turned his forces towards Delhi and launched an attack on Hemu. Now, Hemu's forces were twice as large as that of Akbar's, and the battle raged fierce and wild. But the young emperor shot an arrow straight into Hemu's eyes, blinding him. Hemu's lifeless body was hanged in an open field for all to see. And so, Emperor Akbar won his first big war. This success was soon followed by the dual victories of defeating the Afghan ruler Adil Shah and finally chasing away Sikandar Shah out of Punjab. Emperor Akbar's glory was spreading far and wide. Under General Bairam's watchful eye, the kingdom was growing stronger by the day. But so was Bairam's arrogance. He even went to the extent of refusing an audience with the emperor himself. By the time the emperor finally discovered the truth behind Tardi Beg's death, he'd had enough of Bairam's insubordination. He couldn't punish Bairam, and so instead, he sent him to Mecca. After Bairam, the emperor's new trusted advisor was Adham, the son of Akbar's nurse Maham Anga. And if you think Bairam was arrogant, he was nothing compared to Adham. On the emperor's orders, Adham set out to capture Malwa, which was quite an easy target. But after succeeding, Adham started treating the queens of Malwa and its wealth as his own. And that wasn't it. Adham's attack on Malwa was cruel and inhuman, and he massacred hundreds of innocent civilians. When the news of Adham's conduct reached the emperor, he was boiling with rage. Emperor Akbar personally set out for Malwa and dragged Adham back to the capital, where he was thrown off a balcony to his death. The emperor was successfully eliminating both internal and external threats. And in time, he also wooed a beautiful Rajput princess and married her. As you can imagine, this caused quite a stir. You see, marrying someone who doesn't belong to the same community as you was rather an unusual move for the time. He didn't just marry a Rajput princess. He also gave two Hindu rulers, Man Singh and Bhagwanda, important positions at his court, fostering peace and friendship between religions and regions. The emperor also eliminated the jizya tax, levied on his non-Muslim subjects, and abolished ghastly practices like child marriage and sati. Emperor Akbar proposed a new religion based on the different faiths of India called Deen-i-Ilahi, meaning the divine faith. By now, most Rajput kings had pledged allegiance to Emperor Akbar, but he still had one rival left, Rana Pratap of Mewar. And so, he made Rana Pratap's fort of Chittor his next military target. Rana Pratap had left Chittor under the protection of General Jayaman. It wasn't an easy fort to take, but the tactics employed by Emperor Akbar were rather original. Akbar's army bombarded the walls of the fort, dug tunnels underneath, and used guns and cannons to weaken the fort's defenses. And when the time came, the emperor himself stepped into the fray and won the fort of Chittor. Military conquests weren't the only thing the emperor was interested in. He was just as interested in arts and culture. Revered musicians like Tansen and poets like Abul Fazl regularly performed at Akbar's court. The kingdom was seldom forlorn, and its joy skyrocketed when the emperor fathered 3 sons, Salim, Murad and Danyal. Emperor Akbar ruled over Delhi until his dying day. Through his wisdom and benevolence, he earned the title that he's known by to this day, Akbar the Great.
This video was adapted from an Amar Chitra Katha comic. If you liked it, then click on the button above to buy this or any other book from Amar Chitra Katha. And remember to like and share and subscribe for many more stories from India's favorite storyteller, Amar Chitra Katha.